Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm going to try to do a little garden video update this morning. I'm trying to fit in a few different things. I have a friend that's going to be coming this evening and spending a couple of days. There's a guy out there looking at the hawks. I'll tell you about the hawks in a minute. Oh, he's over in my neighbor's tree. Anyway. So I've been cleaning. I got the house all nice and cleaned up, and I worked on the yards yesterday and they're all nice and cleaned up. So I only have a little bit of grocery shopping and a little bit of cooking to do, and I actually have to get a little package together that I'm going to be sending out. But I thought I would give you a little update on the garden. There's Avery. I had to send her in more than once because one of the hawks, so there's 3 hawks that have been around this morning. For a while they were both sitting out on the, 2 of them were sitting out on the street sign across the street. And then one of them was having its breakfast on my neighbor's lawn. And when I was out front, I had to do a little bit of mulching this morning and some watering before it got real hot. And she started barking. And she was looking, oh, her hackles were raised, and she was looking over there. And I saw that the hawk was out there eating. So it was still early, and I didn't want to have her barking wake the neighbors. So I sent her inside, and then I thought it was gone, and I brought her back out. And then she's actually over in the, oh, there he is. He's in my neighbor's yard again. Let's see if I can show you. So there've been 3 of them out there this morning. And let's see if I can. Where is he? Oh, he's landed. Let's see if I can zoom in. These are big birds too. So he's out right there. Here comes the other one. Look at these guys. They're so big. It's incredible. I mean, I don't even know. Are those hawks or are those eagles? Because we have eagles around here too. Yeah, it's amazing. So there have been 3 of them around. And there's 2 right now. I have a feeling there's maybe 2 parents and a juvenile, but they've been around for a number of days. So anyway, so I had to send Avery inside because she was like chasing him. It's like, I don't really want you chasing hawks. I mean, they did fly off when she came running at them, but I don't want to take any chances. So, so the backyard, there's not, I've just cleaned up a little bit in the backyard. I did find my little bitter melon plant starting, so they're going back on that little try thing back there, and then there's some beans there. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And I repotted my yuzu. Actually, maybe we'll go out this way. But everything's all nice and neat for my guests, because I'm going to have somebody else spending the night that's going to be traveling through tonight too. So I'm going to have a full house. But I cleaned up out here. Listen to them. Amazing. So I repotted my yuzu in this pot here, and I even see some new little growth coming out here. So that's good. But the yard is fine. The red runner beans are doing okay. They don't get enough sunlight back here. And all these guys are doing okay. They're doing fine. There's a couple of little figs. Are you guys? Oh, he's out there. He's out there on the. They're so big. It's right there. That's so cool. The hops are lining, and there's a couple of little figs on this guy. And you'll just get a sense of how things are growing out here. No roses yet. I don't know when the roses are going to come. The few little black currants are starting to ripen. These finally are up that high, those morning glories. And there's a little bit of new growth coming on the clematis, so it's not too bad. And then I bought a white sage the other day, and I put it in a pot because I've grown them before and they can't deal with the cold in the wintertime. Catnip is going to be blooming. Actually, I have to pick some of the rhubarb because I'm going to make another rhubarb strawberry crisp. And the pepper plants, all the plants are doing better. They're doing pretty well. I've got some little tiny elderberries on the elder. And this morning glory is doing well. Some of the gladiolas are going to bloom. And these little poppies have been blooming pretty consistently. Some of them over here have had too much moisture, so they're not doing that well. Got a couple of tomatillos out there. They're doing okay. Another poppy. And the okras in here are growing, and I have some little ones in pots I still need to put in. My mystery plants have not bloomed yet, but it looks like they're going to bloom soon. Listen to those guys. Hollyhocks are blooming. Listen to those guys. It's kind of amazing. There's some really pretty poppies out here. This orange one. And these red ones are something else. Check them out. And this little stand of flowers is fine. I put some seeds in here, but all I see coming up are some of the weeds because I think it's a little hot for some of the seeds to germinate, but I'm trying anyway. And then out here I've got some of the cantaloupes coming up. Some right there. I've got 3 of them that I'm going to have grow over onto this area. And these are ornamental corn, ornamental Japanese red corn. And there's some more hollyhocks there, and calendula, and these sunflowers. And these are all herbs in here. I think I've got some nigella and basil and fennel and cilantro in here. And the squash are doing pretty well. You can get an overview of the garden and the buckwheat. And the tomatoes along here are doing pretty well. Tomatoes and peppers. These big old bumblebees are loving the lavender and the hollyhocks. And the cucumbers are doing nicely, growing up that. And I picked my first eggplant this morning. Some of the coneflower is going to bloom. Looks like that must come from a wildflower seed thing because I wouldn't plant Shasta daisies because once they come up they never go away. But the coneflowers are going to bloom. Comfrey back there is still blooming. Looks like the Jerusalem artichoke might start blooming soon. And all the different herbs in here, the mints and the ashitaba. I should probably pick some of the oregano and the sage. Things don't dry here though because it's so humid, and I don't have a dehydrator yet. So yeah, here's the other side of the squash, and some basil and peppers and sunflowers, and that's the Greek mountain tea that's spreading, and these lavender are finally putting out growth, and more sunflowers. And over here, those are all my calendula. They're going to bloom soon. The chamomile is blooming. The borage continues to bloom, which the bees love too. These coreopsis are doing nicely. And there's more sunflowers and hollyhocks and a collection of different things in here. I put dill seed in there too, cosmos, more poppies back in there, California poppies and other kinds. And the nasturtiums have started blooming nicely. These newer Angelica that I planted this year are doing fabulous. The Ashitaba's coming along, not as good. Meadowsweet, this tansy's growing nicely. Caraway, another big poppy here. And I picked some of the seed heads on this the other day. This is the other Angelica. Motherwort, and I've cut back the foxglove, valerian in there. And some of the St. John's wort. Some of it I had to take out because it had some weird dieback going on, so that's okay. We do what we can. And here's some starting to bloom. And that's where I pulled it out and threw in some of their seeds and some of the roots to see what it would do. But that is it. We'll keep this relatively short since I have stuff to do. I probably shouldn't be making videos, but I wanted to share because it's looking so nice this morning. And I always like to share once I've gotten it all cleaned up and looking nice. I made one of my bigger concept prints the other day, and I think I posted it when I was rinsing it. Oh, there's a little chipmunk. Little chipmunk. Hey, chipmunk, you better watch out for those hawks. Yeah, they've got plenty of food around here. That's for sure. They can eat the copperheads. They should eat the copperheads. So, there's Avery. Cleaned so thoroughly yesterday, and of course, even though I brush her, we still have fur coming out. So much fur, Avery. So much fur that comes out of you. Maybe I'll show you that print. And then I have to have some breakfast. Actually, I have to have some tea. I haven't even had tea yet. My goodness. Let's see. Where's the one? It's a couple that I toned. And they're... Oh, wow, that's looking way bluer than it actually is. They're okay. I'm out of practice with that. Okay, where is that one that I just did? I wanted to show everybody. Is this it here? This is it. So this is a pretty large print, and I don't know whether I'm going to tone it or not. I'm probably going to make more similar to this concept. And the concept, I forget where I had first read about it, but it had to do with when, well, I'm sure there's some pagan roots to it, of confessing to the earth. I had read about it in the context of in Eastern Europe when priests couldn't get around to the small hamlets or villages to absolve people. I guess this is Catholicism. People would confess to the earth, which I think is actually a more natural thing to do anyway. So that's kind of the concept behind it, and I'm pleased with this one. I'm pleased with the consistency of the coating, so that it's tonally pretty consistent, and I'll do more. I'll do more with different botanicals, but for a first success, I really like this one. So I hope you're all having a great weekend, and we'll catch up with you probably at the end of the week or next weekend. All right, bye.